Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is just before President Biden's going to take center stage, State of the Union address, and this will be his very first. So we'll see what he says. I feel sorry for the man because he inherited a nightmare. He's got inflation running away, and he has a war. So which type of president is he? Is he one that fights inflation? He came on as a green candidate, right? The world climate, brought on everything. That was his issue. You don't hear too much about that. Today we saw that the strategic oil reserves, the IEA, 60 million are going to be released, 30 million by the United States. It isn't enough. It's a few days of production. It's nothing. The issue is we have to get other things going so that America is off Russian oil. Can I make it any clearer? We have to get off the fact that we're sitting here right now going, gee, is OPEC going to say they're going to raise another 400,000 barrels and they're going to do that when they only do about 50 or 60% of what they say they're going to do? They're sitting there going, we're doing everything we can, but what they're really doing is enjoying $100 a barrel oil and getting rich in the process. Do you think their processes are any less than ours would be for the greening of the world? If you do, there's something wrong with your mentality. Whatever you're going to do to bring it out of the ground, we could do. And I think we could probably do it as well as anyone in the world. We need a better plan. I am not for destroying the planet. But you have to pay attention to this. And we need to be energy independent as we were just 2-3 years ago, right? You got to get back to that point. As for the marketplace, you have to take everything that's going and understand it's an unusual set of events. Here we're in a war. I haven't seen a war of this scale, nor have you. I don't know when. Korean War, something like this. It's monstrous. The pleas, and you got to get heartbroken as you hear Ukraine pleading to make them a NATO member. NATO's not going to do that. They don't want to go to war with Russia. The moment they do that, they have to put the troop on the ground, the airplanes in the sky, and fight with Russia, which could lead to a nuclear event. Russia's learning how strong NATO is, so whatever happens here, and it's probably going to be ugly, won't happen in the next country, because I think the resolve will be there in NATO to not let it happen. I wish they could do more right now, and I think the whole world does. But I'm just one fella, and I am with the Ukrainian people, no question. No people should be invaded just because Russia wants to rechange the maps of a region. Okay, let's end that. And I know you all write me, keep to what I'm doing. No, it's my channel, and I'll do what I want. On the S&P 500 index, you have the market coming down right here. You're still very much in a downtrend. When you take a look at the daily bar, you've gone into actually a consolidation. You've had your levels of breaks, and suddenly the market isn't breaking or rallying. It's just sort of hanging here. The pattern, still one of lower highs, lower lows, until this high back here is taken out on this formation. The bear trend is very much alive. The resistance, and where I think the pros are trying to sell the market, is right here at the 18-day average of closes, the red line at 43, let's call it 43.99.5. Next resistance, 46.5. And you'd have to take out the high all the way back here, and we'll take a look at it just to see what's going on, is 44.85. So as I see it, that's pretty much the risk, and I think traders are trying to sell into it. Eventually, this war ends, and when it does, who knows what the market does. But right now, the odds favor that you wake up each day, and what happens? There's more sanctions on Russia. There's more slowing of world economies. There's more talk that the supply chains are getting hurt. There's more things that are negative than positive. That keeps this market on the defensive. When we come up and we look at the Bollinger Bands, you got there, you bounced away. It wouldn't surprise me if we go to test it again. No surprise there at all. If you take out 44.85, let's just say that the market goes there. Some miraculous thing happens. We all want it to happen. Is that going to turn the trend up? Not on this pattern. In this pattern, you'd have a lower low and then a higher high. So the pattern doesn't fit. Are you going to go into a vertical price rise up to the resistance here? Well, you certainly could, but I wouldn't look for it to go much further. In the NASDAQ, you have an uptrend in the swing line that is, with the market under the 18-day average, the bias down. This is called, by my labeling, a contra-trend rally. I'll define the trend off of the bias. Let's start with that. When you're under the 18-day average, I have a bearish bias. When you're over it, I have a bullish bias. And I can come back here and I was bullish there. So I'd be telling my subscribers, hey, you're looking to buy, not sell. Well, in this bias, this was a contra-trend one, and I'm teaching them, and I do it in my charting courses. This is where the market should have its falter. I've used my power. I've gotten up there. It's now looking for what the next event will be. It's already hit its upside resistance point. In the micro Dow Jones, the market today had a huge outside day down. Do you see that? If today's high is taken out, look for a fast test of 34,301 or wherever the 18-day average is at that point. I would not look for big moves through all that. That's too much resistance to just go unless some event, again, that I know nothing about, don't see on the horizon happens, that is bullish and causes stock indices to go up. I can see more things bearish with what's going on in the Ukraine and how a spillover could happen into Poland or other countries than I can see a bullish event unless Putin came to his senses and just said, I'm going to pull out. Do you think that's going to happen? That's the issue. That would be bullish. In the mini March Russell, I see this charting action going sideways. The Russell often does that. Go back here, you will see it. I can carry you back to other areas. It's unlike the other indices. It's very important to understand indices. My job is to help you understand them here. The trend is down. The bias is down. The pros might be selling that 18-day average, which stops over that high. But I've told my traders, actually, I think we have better opportunity elsewhere. As for the VIX, you know, it's not running dramatically to the upside. Normally, the VIX is a tip-off. If it starts soaring like that, you get a big break in the markets and stock indices. You're not getting that. It's very controlled. It's very strange. Is it going to have an easy time staying in the 33s? Probably not, which means a break. Could it go through that and run? You know, any bad news on the war front? Yes. Now, 2 weeks ago, 2.5, what was the interest rate on, let's go to this, the 10-year note. Do you remember? 2%. We had gotten up to the point where 9 interest rate hikes were being talked about by some of the banks. Others were talking, Jen Bullard and others, half-point rate hike now. By July, we have to be up a full percentage point. I don't know that that's the case, and it's not that Mr. Bullard didn't read inflation right. The Fed has its hands full. Its mandate is not to end the war, but it's also not to destroy the economy. The economy's on its heels right now because of all that's going on. This inflation can't withstand a huge interest rate spike right now. The battle's on at the European Central Bank, which was talking that. Now the members are going, we can't do that at this point in time. Admittedly, the fighting is on their home turf in Europe, but this world is small. Everything affects everyone. I think today was the day where the pros bailed on the market. You got over the upper Bollinger Band. Let me just show you this. The Bollinger Band's normally the resistance, and another big one would be the 100-day, I'm sorry. It's right there. No, I think the market today was a day where the pros bailed on this position. That does not mean they're bearish, but I think they'll look on the breaks to come back in. That's a big resistance point. In the dollar index, the trend is still up, but I teach you never buy over an upper Bollinger Band. If you do, you generally can get in better, and often it's very bad for your financial health. That doesn't mean the trend isn't up. It's a question of where to come in so you're not fighting the concept that the market will trade within, not over the Bollinger Bands, within them 95% of the time. In the euro, you dropped back again under the Bollinger Band. It wouldn't surprise me if you get a little bit of a bounce here. The trend is clearly down. Is the market going to try to breach 110 is really the question I'm asking myself. The resistance back up ahead of the 112.78.5 zone, downtrend. Same in the pound. You can forget all the good news if you get it out of the economic data of these countries. It is not what the market is trading. The market is caught up in everything Ukraine right now. It's not going to look beyond that while you've got a column of armed vehicles and shells and fuel 40 miles long circling a city, and you go to bed and you know we don't know what we're going to wake up to in the morning, and we don't know there won't be an accident, and that accident is not going to be bullish those currencies. Bitcoin. As I said it to you yesterday, I think everybody woke up to the fact of what not me, but I think other guys picked up on it too. If I'm in Russia, now I can't move $10,000. As of tonight, March 2nd at midnight in Russia, there will be no money moving out of that country in excess of $10,000. So everything's getting squashed. How are they going to stop what I do in Bitcoin? I go to one of these local wallet places or the exchanges, and I don't transfer it out. I'm moving my money back and forth in dribs and drabs. I'm buying my coins. How do you know what I own? I mean, the whole thing's anonymous. This is giving this. It's come to life off of, unfortunately, this event, and it proves to that group of people the importance of this and the fluidity of having money in that. I didn't say it's a good investment. I said what I said. In Brent versus WTI, I've now moved to the May contracts, and you peaked out at a differential of 475. You're backing a little bit, but you can't be short Brent. You can't be short energies. There's not enough of it right now. The market's caught. So the question is, in the marketplace, what you have is people just wanting to buy the breaks. Now, I can promise you, this is an accident waiting to happen down the road. You'll say why? Because the back end of the energies are all lower. People aren't saying, oh, they're going to be even higher back there. It's the front end that is the problem of the market. And with that, you get corrections along the way. I am not smart enough to know where they're going to come from or how they're going to come about, but they've come about. A new high in our oil at $102 a barrel. We need our people producing. They're not going to. The laws of the Biden administration. This is not a political forum I'm talking about. We need to do something so that our people say, you know, if you want me to commit money to producing it, I need something more than it's going to change on me another year from now. You needed it now, but now you're going to penalize me, and I'm being facetious. 2 years, 3. Can't put up that kind of money to do it. The big oil companies are making enough from holdings elsewhere to still have phenomenal dividends and giving their investors return on money. They're not going to budge unless you give them a reason to do it. And price alone isn't it. You got to have a policy to move them. Heating oil, need I tell you, gone to the wind, okay? This is the same as airplane fuel. Do you want to own jets or any of those things right now? That's the difficulty. You want to fly somewhere? Boy, is it going to cost. Natural gas, it held right what it should. The 18-day average of closes, trying to stay in this top quadrant of the market. Every energy has value right now, period. And that is the problem that people are fighting with. Now, I want to remind you that I want to offer you for 2 weeks free my full research. It's not just videos. I write a different way. I've been around this many years, and I've been writing my newsletters, 25, 30 years. The one thing I don't want to do is, like some people, write a 6-7 page newsletter, because at the end of the day, I'm always looking, what's he saying? Give me the bullet points. That's how I write. I glean throughout the day, newsletters, news reports, internet, everything looking for ideas. I bring the headlines to you, then give you the points, bullet points, what's behind it, and then a fast sentence or two. Hey, this is what you've got to be watching. The whole key here is to bring you up to what's going to be what people are trading. I'm a futures trader. I was honed on this. I've been doing this since '69. I know, and I believe I know, what traders want to hear, what they're looking for. I may not have the answer to that, but I know what they're looking for, and I'm going to present it to you for you to go on the road with that. How do you get that? Access to my videos in the morning with the specific trade here. Do this, don't do that, whatever it might be. Go to our website. Under free offers, can I make it any easier? Give it a try. We're not asking you for a credit card. I think once you see it, I think you'll get hooked on it. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day.